everybody, welcome to class. It's Holly with Flow with Holly. Today we're going to be working through some twisting. So twisting through the spine, finding length down the side of the body and just, wringing everything out, finding a nice juicy release. So coming onto our mat, so we're going to start today in a child's pose. Bringing the knees wide to the edge of the mat and then just dropping everything down. Extending the fingertips long and just letting the pelvis relax and melt back into the mat. Taking a couple of inhales and exhales just in your own time. Finding length down the undersides of the armpits and the underarms, the shoulders. And then just coming to be on your mat. Okay, so no pressure on where this flow might go or how you need to feel. Just coming into yourself in your little safe space on your mat and finding some time for you here today. Let's just move through a couple of little neck circles side to side, and then we're going to come up into a tabletop position. So knees are under the hips, okay, 90-degree angle. We're pushing down through the palms of the hands and through each of the 10 little fingertips here. As we push away, let's exhale. Finding that deep space between the shoulders. And then as we inhale, gaze goes high, releasing through the back body, expanding the chest. One more inhale. And then exhale again, pushing the mat away, coming into that cat pose. Stretching. And again, inhale. Gaze goes high to the sky. Weights evenly distributed through each of the 4 contact points with the mat. And one more round like this, pushing the mat away. And then inhale, chest is high. Finding that breath and just slowing things down. And we're going to come to tuck the toes. Tuck all 10 toes and then just hover through the knees. Straight away switching on through the core here. I want you to find that nice steady pull. So it's like we're pulling the navel up to the back of the spine, pressing down through the hands, and then finding length through the arms. So really engaged here. Just to warm things up, we're going to step the left foot back, hold, and then bring that right knee into the chest. Holding here for 3, for 2, and 1. A couple of gentle knee taps with that right knee. So tapping the knee to the mat and then bringing it back through center. Tapping to the mat, bringing back through center, finding that compression, keeping everything engaged here. And then stepping that right foot back to meet the left, high plank. Straight away, let's bring that left knee into chest. Firstly, find that compression again. Keeping the heat through the shoulders, staying with this. And then dropping the left knee for 3, for 2. Wringing everything out for 1. Stepping the left foot back, to meet the right. And then let's just drop the knees. Arms come long into a puppy pose. So fingertips go long. We extend the tail high, and then we find that length under the undersides of the arms. Let's just reach those left fingertips forward a little bit further. Bring the right hand closer to the rib cage, finding length down that left side. And then moving the other way. Full exhale. Both hands come to the top of the mat. Then we're just going to slide forward all the way down onto the chest, moving through our first little cobra. I love this one to warm things up. So gently pressing into the fingers. I want you to extend through the back, engage the glutes, and retract the shoulder blades together. Just be mindful where your neck is placed. So my gaze is just ahead of the top of my mat. So I'm not cranking through the neck backwards. And it's not too far forward, so just a neutral. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then let everything go. From here, pushing onto the knees, or coming through a high plank, meeting in a downward facing dog. Just pedal the feet out here, finding that nice length and stretch down the back of the hamstrings. And maybe setting a little intention for your practice here today. Well done. Just being mindful here as well, like not necessarily needing to have those back legs straight completely. It's about finding length from the crown right to the tail. And then let's start to tippy-toe the feet forward to the top of the mat. Coming to meet in a forward fold, grasping the elbows, just swaying, rocking side to side. And then just bring those fingertips down to the mat. I want you to place the tops of the wrists, tops of the hands into the mat. And just find a little release down the front of the arms, front of the forearms. And then just turning the fingertips the other way. So the fingers are pointing to the toes, and then we're releasing through the fronts of the forearm. Taking a couple of circles side to side. Well done. From here, let's come to a halfway lift. Hands come to knees. Inhale, exhale, we fold. Fingertips to the mat. Inhale, arms sweep high above head. And then exhale, let that go. Fingertips to the mat. Firstly, let's step that left foot back. Dropping the back knee. Inhale, arms come high. For this first one, let's bring the hands to heart center and then place the left elbow onto the right knee. Just a little twist. Gaze can gently go down behind us, looking for that back heel. Just finding a beautiful little release here through the left hip flexor. From here, let's bring the hands to frame the front foot. Step that right foot back high to the sky, three-legged dog, opening and expanding through the side body. And then just exhale, downward facing dog. Other side, so center the right foot, left leg goes high this time. Taking that little hip yawn. Three-legged dog, exhale, stepping forward, low lunge. Right knee drops, inhale, arms sweep high. Just shifting the weight back ever so slightly. So coming a little bit up and out of that lunge. Just growing the spine first before we take these twists. So hands come to heart center. Inhale. Exhale, twist. Right elbow comes to the outside of the left knee. And then just taking the gaze back and long. Using the breath as we exhale to find a little bit more of a deeper twist. And then bring the hands to frame the front foot. Step the left foot back to meet the right. We're going to move through a chaturanga. So let's bring the weight forward and over the wrists. So shoulders are over the wrists. Hugging the elbows in towards the rib cage and just slowly dropping halfway. Scooping the weight onto the tops of the foot. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pedaling the feet out here for a moment. Just recentering the breath. And then bring that left leg to the middle. Inhale, right leg goes high, three-legged dog. Exhale, stepping forward, low lunge, lower the back knee. Straight away, inhale. Exhale, same thing, left elbow to right knee. And then take the gaze back behind you. Staying here for a breath. And then exhale, hands come to frame the front foot, stepping back to a high plank. Moving through your chaturanga, finding a little bit of heat. Upward facing and downward facing dog. This time the right leg comes to center. Inhale, left leg goes high to the sky. Exhale, stepping through, lower the back knee. Inhale, arms sweep high above head. Weight shifts back over the hips. And then bringing the hands to heart center. Finding that lovely little twist again. Hooking the elbow to the knee. Using your body as a lever to help move into these twists. Exhale, hands come to frame the front foot. And this time stepping back, high plank. Moving through your chaturanga. Low plank. Upward facing. Downward facing. We repeat and add on. Left foot comes to the center. Right foot comes high. Inhale. Exhale, stepping through. This time, let's keep the back foot tucked. We're going to find an open twist here. So left hand to the mat, right arm comes high. And then just circling the shoulder blade back for 3, for 2, and for 1. From here, bringing the hands to heart center, keeping low in that lunge, and then just shifting the weight back here. Thinking about that twist again, so left elbow is coming to that right knee, keeping the back knee up or dropping it if you need. Okay, taking what you need today, using me as a guide. If that back knee is up, I want you to think about popping the kneecap up to the ceiling and then really twisting through the waist. And then maybe extending that right arm long behind you, reaching the weight back. And then from here, the left arm comes forward. Okay, so we really need to engage the core in the center here. When we don't have the arms pressed against the knee, it's about using the body and the strength, reaching back like I'm grabbing you with both hands. And then bring the hands back to frame the front foot, stepping back, high plank, moving through your flow. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Well done. Right away, the right foot comes to center, left leg comes high, 3-legged dog. Inhale, exhale, stepping forward. Stay in that high lunge, finding the open twist. So right hand is in line with those left toes, and then we bring the left arm high. It's like we're stacking the shoulder blade back. Okay, so hugging the shoulder blade behind us. Inhale, gaze comes to the ceiling. Exhale, let's take 3 little circles again with the hand. Finding a little bit of strength and stretch down that left delt and also through that right hip flexor, last one. Staying if we can, bringing both hands up and shifting the weight back. Bringing the hands to a prayer position, looking down at that setup, so making sure the knees at a bit of a 90-degree angle, the weight slightly backwards. And then as we bring the chest forward, let's find that little bind. Okay, that nice twist, dropping that knee if we need, that is absolutely fine. And just breathe. Same thing from here, we're going to reach the left arm back. And then finding the strength, let's reach the right arm forward. Okay, so the back leg is engaged, the thigh is firing up high. And we're using that breath to find a bit of ease through these harder movements and positions. Let's all bring the hands to frame the front foot. Whew, let that go. The legs are firing now. Bringing the weight over the wrist. Exhale, coming down to a low plank. Inhale, pushing up, upward facing dog. And downward facing dog, just shaking that out, pedaling the feet. Let's stay with this fire. So we're going to bring the left foot to the center. Give your plant a little kick if it's in your way. And then right leg goes high, 3-legged dog. Exhale, stepping forward. Left arm to the floor, right arm goes high. This time straight away coming up, so reaching that right hand back and the left hand forward. That deep, strong, twisted position. And then can we extend that right hand down the back leg? Left arm comes high. Dropping the back knee if you need. And then bringing both hands forward. So we're coming into that arrow head position. Stay with me here. Let's sweep the arms back for 3, for 2, and 1. Arms come back overhead. 1 more round. Inhale and exhale, shooting the arms back behind you. And then bringing the hands to heart center, finding that little rotation again. Left elbow hooks to the right knee. And just look back. Staying here for 3, for 2, and 1. Both hands come to frame the front foot. Let's reach that right leg high and just release through the hip there. Okay, so 3 circles in one direction, and then 3 circles in the other. Letting it go, letting the blood flow. Finding a bit of release. Pressing down through the hands, just meeting in a downward facing dog, moving to the other side. So center the right foot, left leg goes high, 3-legged dog. And as we exhale, we step through. Keeping that right hand planted firm to the mat. Left arm goes high. Finding that stability, dropping the back knee here if we need. And then straight away, coming up into that low lizard twist. Looking back. And then reaching the left hand back, right arm to the ceiling. Staying with me here. Really twisting through the midline. And finding length down the spine. And then bringing both hands up. Coming into that high lunge. Staying in this fire, staying in the legs. And then reach the arms back, arrowhead. Again, inhale, arms come high, shifting that weight gently backwards. Arrow, head. Hands come to prayer position at heart center. We find that little twist again. So hooking the right elbow to the outer left knee, dropping the back right knee if you need. And then instead of being down here, so watching this difference of me collapsing like this or coming up and out of this movement. So I'm finding much more of a range and twist through the torso. It's like I've got a little, like I'm a little tea towel and I'm wringing out the waist. And I'm looking back. And then bring those front hands to the top of the mat, framing the left foot, moving back to a high plank, coming through your chaturanga, low plank, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Well done. That was a lot of build and heat and strength. So use your breath here, guys, to just calm everything down. Maybe dropping into a child's pose just for a moment, bringing the knees wide, sinking the hips back. It's a lot of stability through the pelvis and through all those stabilizing muscles. So just let that go, melt the hips into the mat for a moment. Okay, and sort of coming back perhaps to that intention that you set for yourself. My little mic pack's got a mind of its own there. Now coming back up, moving through a downward facing dog. We're going to lift the right leg high to the sky, center the left foot. And then we're going to step through, right foot to the top of the mat, dropping that back left knee. Coming into a bit of a deeper twist here. So bringing the weight back, hands come to heart center. We're going to bring the left elbow to the right knee. And then we're going to take that gaze back. So finding that little bind, this might be enough. Otherwise, tucking the back toes. And then coming up into that high lunge twist. Staying here, and otherwise we're going to sort of drop the left armpit onto the right knee, bringing the left fingertips to the mat, and then extending the right arm high. So we're in a really deep twist here. This might be enough, but if you're begging for a little bind, bringing that right hand behind you outside the left hip, nestling it in, and then maybe playing with grabbing the right hand and finding that deep bind here. Okay, again, gaze comes back. Can we think about bringing the hips to neutral? So making sure the weight's not swaying over to one side. Beautiful. As we release, we're going to come to a wide angled forward fold. So all 10 toes point to the edge of the mat, and then just bringing the palms down. Bending the knees if you need, and then just rocking side to side. Okay, so releasing through the groin and the outer hips. Well done. And then let's just walk the fingertips back to the top of the mat, framing that right foot here. Lifting the right leg high to the sky. And then as a little counter pose, we're going to play with flipping that dog. So right foot comes over, finding your wild thing. Pressing down through the left arm, reaching up and over. Full inhale. And as we exhale, bringing the right arm back over to the top of the mat and finding that downward facing dog. Well done. Other side. So lift that left leg high to begin. Three-legged dog. Exhale, stepping forward. Dropping the back right knee. So finding that setup first. Straightening everything out. And then bringing the hands to heart center. Firstly, let's bring the right elbow to the left knee. Now, it's like we're bringing the armpit down onto that knee. Okay, so really exaggerating that movement first. Staying here or tucking the back toes. And then reaching for the mat. So moving in stages, guys. You can't expect to come straight into a bind or a twist or anything straight away. It's like anything in life. It takes time to build the strength and the movement. Okay. From here, the right fingertips are outside of that left foot. Perhaps we're going to reach the left arm high to the sky, wringing out the midline. And then dropping the left hand towards the right hip. And yeah, going for a bind if this is what you need today. But always asking yourself as well, like why am I coming into this? What am I getting out of this? Okay, asking yourself if you, I guess, are comparing to what someone else is doing, and your rationale for then thinking that you need to do this too. Okay, because that is not what it's about. Take another inhale. And as we exhale, we're coming into that wide angled forward fold again. Dropping the fingers. If headstand is in your practice, you can take this now. So we're working to bring the heels of the hands in line with the heels of the feet. And then dropping the head to the mat. Gently placing the weight through the top of the head. Okay, being really mindful of the neck here. And then just coming up, gently pressing into the hands. And then raising the legs above your head. Coming upside down is a really great way to shift, obviously, your perspective. And to just bring that blood flow back to the heart. Taking a couple of deep inhales. And then coming out the way that you came in. Slow and steady and controlled. Maybe bringing the feet wide first. And then bringing them back in line with the palms of the hands. And then just reaching the arms forward. Okay, letting that go here. Take an inhale. And an exhale. And then just walking the hands back around to the top of the mat, framing that front left foot. Final vinyasa, stepping back to a high plank. And then moving down. Exhale. Coming up and over. Meeting in your downward facing dog. Let's come down to child's pose again, bringing the knees wide. Dropping the chest in between the outer arms. And then just breathing. Elongating that breath. Just noticing how the body feels when it's in a little bit of flow and rhythm. Just enjoying the heat and the strength that you've built as well. Okay, so that's a big part of it. It's one thing is doing, and the other part is just enjoying, like reveling in the fact that you've showed up on your mat for you. You know, you've given yourself this time. And you're just creating good, healthy habits and movements. From here, we're going to come up into a tabletop position. And then just move through a few rounds of that cat-cow just to release. So pushing the mat away. And again, maybe noticing how these cat-cow movements feel compared to the first ones at the beginning of a pretty heated class. Well done. Coming up through downward facing dog. We're just going to start to tippy toe the feet forward and then slide down onto the mat, hugging the knees into center, compressing the little hip bones down to the floor. Let's just take a few circles, one way and the other way. And then we're going to twist on over. So let's bring that right knee on top of the left, grasping for the outer sides of the foot if you can. Otherwise, maybe for the shins, or just keeping the right knee over the left and hugging it towards the chest. Okay, so taking the level that you need. And then let's drop the legs all the way over to the left. Finding that reclined twist, using that right knee as a bit of a lever to push everything down. And using the breath again to really go deeper into these twists. Well done. Coming back up here, let's just place the outside of that right foot onto the left knee and then reaching through the little gap, reclined pigeon pose. Right elbow can be used to press that right knee back. Flexing the toes. Dropping the gaze maybe in these slower movements where you can just listen. Okay, you don't necessarily need to look. You just go into your body and just feel those juicy releases. Dropping the feet now and coming the other way. So the left knee comes on top of the right, drawing the knees back towards the face and then grasping for the outer edge of the foot, Gomukhasana, cow face pose, or reaching for the shins, or just hugging the knees in, okay? I say it a lot, but that's what's so good about these home practices is, you know, you can take what you need. If you need to come out of stuff, if you need to pause stuff, if your kids are running in, which often happens to me, then you can, you know, and then you can come back in. That is the luxury of this. From here, dropping the knees over to the right, extending that left arm long, and then taking the gaze down the left arm. Just following your breath here. And coming back through center, left foot comes onto the right knee. Flex the toes and then just grasping in between the legs there. So grasping around the right hamstring. Beautiful job. Just letting that go. Let's bring the feet just kind of in line with the hips, hip width distance apart. Just moving through a bridge here. So I want you to scoop each shoulder blade under one by one, coming up onto the shoulders. And then maybe binding the fingers beneath you, punching the fist into the mat, engaging the glutes here, engaging the core, and almost thinking like you're pressing the weight back into the shoulders. Toes are all facing forwards. And then just letting this go. Moving through a final sort of wheel pose. I'll talk you through it, or just taking a bridge again. So if you're coming with me, let's tuck the shoulders again, and then staying down here if you're not coming any further, finding that lovely little bind, extending through the quads and the front of the body. Otherwise, let's bring the fingertips, point them towards the shoulders, and then press up onto the crown of the head. Feet face forwards, toes face forwards, and then push the mat away. And at the same time, evenly through both sides of the body, finding that wheel and that beautiful release. Always such a beautiful deep pose at the end of quite an energetic strong flow. Nice way to open and express the chest. From here, slowly making your way back down to the mat. One by one, slowly coming out the way you came in. Hugging the knees, giving yourself a little squeeze. Again, massaging the spine, side to side. And then coming into a happy baby, I want you to bring the knees high to the shoulders to begin. Okay, so squeezing them in. Pointing the toes towards the face and then reaching for the outer edges of the foot. And then it's like we're trying to imprint the length of the spine into the mat. So up here is the difference to down here. Okay, so I want you to avoid this kind of rocking, unstable sensation. And I want you to think about stability, grounding, planting, back into the earth. Okay, back into your day. So putting the little hips back into their sockets. Take a full inhale and exhale. And then from here, let's come into Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly pose of soles of the feet together. And then just pressing down to the outer side, the inner side, of the knees. Giving yourself a little self-assist. Just increasing that length in the outer sides of the glutes. And then for our final resting posture of Shavasana, bringing the legs long. Let the feet drop out, palms face to the ceiling. Maybe just kind of scooting the shoulder blades under you a little bit like a pillow, and the glutes under you. Perhaps putting on something warm if you need here, depending where you are in the world. And then just relaxing, coming into your final resting posture. Shavasana. Staying here as long as you can today. And otherwise, slowly making your way back up to a seat. Perhaps rolling over to the left and then pushing your body up into a comfortable little seat. I always find I'm like way off my mat when I come back up in the middle of nowhere in the living room, taking a deep breath. And then letting that go. Just bringing your hands to heart center, knowing that for today you've done enough. Again, full inhale and exhale, namaste. Thank you guys for a beautiful flow. Ooh, quite fiery in the end. And sometimes they go like that. So just rolling with it. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.